We are 4 days away before the Minnesota Vikings play the Tennessee Titans in their first preseason action of the NFL season. I'm so excited. It's finally here. It's a beautiful thing, man. It's just, we don't have to sit here and watch the paint dry anymore. Like, no more trying to find something to do because football is here and we can do what we want and watch the game that we all know and love. Today, we are going to kind of backtrack a little bit and kind of go over a little bit of our latest segment of Standouts and Fizzouts because, there's winners and losers. There's risers and falls for us. It's Standouts and Fizzouts. Standouts because players that stood out, and Fizzouts because pop. That's right, pop. It needs to replace all water because it is the greatest thing since sliced bread. We love pop. If it was up to us, that's all we drink. But the doctor recommends different things. But anyway, overall, let us know what you guys drink in the comment section down below. Is it Mountain Dew, Pepsi, Dr. Pepper, Diet Dr. Thunder, the great value kind? I don't care. Let us know what you guys drink in the comment section down below because we love pop. But overall, there's a lot of standouts from the Vikings training camp so far. You got to be excited about it. This has been a really good looking unit, really on both sides of the football. And it all starts with Brian Flores' defense. We brought this guy in to fix what Ed Donatel couldn't, and he's done that. He's absolutely brought a lot of different elements to this defense that has made it hard for the Vikings offense at times, which is saying something. With essentially the same personnel, okay, maybe not, but I mean, it pretty much is the same personnel that the Vikings had last year, except basically a whole new cornerback group. But, you're really excited to see this because the Vikings defense is putting pressure on the quarterback. It looks like they're stopping the run. They're being creative. They're putting themselves in a lot of different positions to be able to put their best players in positions to be successful. So I've been really excited. I've been really pleased with what Brian Flores has done so far. And it really is exciting because this defense, that's the thing about this defense. We've said it for the longest time. It doesn't need to be a top 10 defense, top 15 defense, and the Vikings can win or at least have another 13-win season under Kirk Cousins. So really excited about this defense. We'll continue to see how everybody else performs during the preseason and moving forward. Number two, the rookies have been really impressing me. So from top to bottom, I mean, Jordan Addison, the first-round pick, everybody was talking about the speeding thing that went on. Yes, I get it, but overall, I'm very pleased about Jordan Addison and the fact that he's been balling out and doing very good things. Ivan Pace Jr., the linebacker that just seems to be taking over more and more. You love to see it. He's just a fantastic blitzer, a guy that has a lot of energy. Guys like Brian Asamoah, too. Those two guys in the middle, they're the future. You're excited about it. Absolutely love to see it. Jaquelin Roy, the defensive tackle, who continually gets first-team reps with the team's defensive tackles. I think that's just a sign of more things to come, to be honest with you. And I think he's going to be able to play his best football with the Vikings in the NFL. Mekhi Blackman, another guy, really it goes top to bottom with all the rookies. Even Dwayne McBride. I called him Dwayne McBridge throughout the entire preseason draft process, and I'm so sorry. But Mekhi Blackman, Dwayne McBride, everybody, all the rookies have stepped up, and they are going to look to contribute in some way for the Vikings this year. So I've been very pleased with how things have gone. And even the undrafted guys, we mentioned Pace, Tristan Jackson is a guy that continues to bring it year in and year out. But I've been so excited. So Tristan Jackson has been bringing it as of recent, but I know he's been out with an injury. Hopefully he gets back pretty quickly and the Vikings can see what they've got in him. So second string outside linebackers, Patrick Jones and DJ Awanam. I know that without having Daniil out there and Marcus Davenport for a lot of the team periods, these guys were probably licking their chops just to show what they can do, and they've absolutely done that. They're guys that have been stopping the run well. Both guys have had some run, but not as much as you'd like to see. They're young guys that do have a lot and bring a lot to the defensive side of the football, from whether it's a pass coverage perspective, even though I don't prefer them in that, but they're really guys that you can rely on to pin their ears back and go after as pass rush specialists. So I absolutely love to see it. Ty Chandler, the running back, just continually gets it done. I know that with Alexander Madison going out for a short period of time, the Vikings have a full stable of running backs. I know Kenny Nwangu has been out for a little bit, but Ty Chandler's been a guy to me that, on the Thursday practice, the night practice, he had a big run. He continues to show that no matter what happens, he can do a lot of different things for you. So I love Ty Chandler. The Vikings wide receivers as a whole, we touched on Jordan Addison being that dude. He's looking like he is going to be able to come in and do some special things. Justin Jefferson, honestly, we could go just down the line. Tristan Jackson, I know he's injured. We mentioned him. KJ Osborne. Like, between those three, KJ Osborne, Justin Jefferson, and Addison, I'm so excited to see what this three-headed trio can do with the Vikings offense. But again, it goes down there. Jalen Naylor, Jalen Reagor, to me, to a degree. We'll talk about him a little bit later, but this entire wide receiver core for the Vikings guys like Blake Prohl still going out there and get the job done. So hats off to the Vikings receiving corps as a whole. They've done a fantastic job this training camp. Josh Metellus and Lewis Cine, it is getting harder and harder to watch this safety battle because somebody's going to come out on top. I know Cameron Bynum is a guy that, he's kind of back there. He kind of disappointed to a degree last year, but I think that this defense is going to put him in a better spot. But Josh Metellus, he is a guy that was a special teams captain for a reason last year. He's a guy that gets it done there. He's really been only just shined every time he's been given an opportunity. Lewis Cine getting that pick a couple of weeks ago, or when the first training camp started and all that. So I'm just so excited to see what this safety room looks like, and really, therefore, what this defense looks like. So hats off to Lewis Cine and Josh Metellus, those two guys battling out for safety. It's been a lot of fun to watch. So the cornerbacks in the mix too to start, guys like a Caleb Evans, Joanne Williams, and Murph. They've done really good things. I think that Murph has gotten kind of schooled by Justin Jefferson at times, but who doesn't? Who doesn't? If I went out there and went out and played against Justin Jefferson right now, they'd have to take me off in a stretcher because it's Justin Jefferson. So I've been really excited to see what Murph has done as well as Williams and Evans. These three guys look like they're going to start for the Vikings, but I'm still excited to see Andrew Booth Jr. I know we'll talk about him in a second, but these guys that are in line to start, I just want to see where they're at. But I am excited to see that. Even Jaron Hall too, the last standout. I know I'm missing some guys, but be sure to put those in the comment section down below too. We'd love to talk about it. But Jaron Hall is another guy that coming in as a rookie, you were excited to see how he was going to handle himself with the Vikings offense. And it hasn't been perfect. That's definitely not the case. But from what we've seen, we are so excited to see him in the preseason and see what he can do. Did you guys also see, Dorian Thompson-Robinson absolutely laid out a dude last week in the very first preseason game, the Hall of Fame game. And I'm excited to see kind of how him and Jaron Hall and these later round quarterbacks who kind of separates themselves. And I think Jaron Hall is going to be one of those guys. But I think he's going to continually get better during training camp. He's showing off his deep ball skills and his leadership skills. So we're going to have to see how the rest of that plays out during training camp and all that. The Fizzouts. So I know that this is not their fault. Jalen Reagor or Jalen Naylor, as well as Booth. This hurts because these two guys, I thought were going to have big-time years, and it's not their faults. I'm not saying that they're fizzouts in any way for that, but Andrew Booth Jr. and Jalen Naylor, those two guys, just the injuries. Can we not just acknowledge that this sucks, watching these two studs just go down and not being able to compete? I want them to both to come back because I think Andrew Booth Jr. needs to come back because I think his career's, it's not necessarily slipping away, but injuries are starting to raise concerns for him. Jalen Naylor, the guy was an absolute stud on the first day of training camp, but this Jordan Addison and company, it's really not doing him any favors to be out. So, and I know you got to be able to just make sure he's 100% before you put him back out there, but it just sucks, man. I'd like to see both those guys out on the field. Number 2, blocking against the Flores defense. So this has not been a whole, the totality of it. It's just the Thursday of practice, the offense had a tough go about it in some cases because, like I said, Flores is ramping it up. He's bringing a lot of pressure. He's disguising things. He's just doing a lot of different things that you're and that's what training camp is meant to do. Put a lot of guys in a lot of different places and just see what they do. So, it's just been really funny to watch the offensive line just get mauled by Brian Flores' defense so far. But I think the offensive line is going to be okay. I'm hoping. Knock on all the wood, but honestly, it's just been a lot of fun. But that is definitely something that is a little concerning as we head forward into the preseason. I want some guys to be able to get it done in the blocking side of things. Another fizz out: linebackers not named Ivan Pace Jr., Brian Asamoah, or Jordan Hicks. So guys like Troy Dye, William Nkwinku, and all those guys, Troy Reader, you were expecting a lot of these guys to be able to kind of go in with the ones. And I know that Troy Dye did really go in with the ones, but he's in a contract year. He really hasn't impressed me that much, and I'm just kind of wondering to see what we're going to see from some of these younger linebackers, who's going to make it and all that. But it's just been really tough because it's not like they played bad. It's just they haven't really shocked me. I have not really seen big time stuff coming from the beat writers on the other linebackers on the roster, on the other inside linebackers, So it's just been a little disappointing, but I don't put that all on them. Evan Pace Jr. has kind of stolen the show. Nick Mullins. So Jaron Hall and Nick Mullins clearly are competing for the number 2 quarterback job right now, but Nick Mullins is as solid as it gets from a veteran's perspective. But we've noticed he's thrown a couple of interceptions, and I know it's only training camp, but it's man, you got the young rookie on your tail right now, and Jaron, like there is no room for mistakes. So, but it's been a little interesting to see Nick Mullins make some of the mistakes he's made, but he's still a solid veteran. I'm not putting him down in any way. I love Nick Mullins, and it's just interesting to see how things have gone so far. Greg Joseph, so Podlesny is pushing him. That's perfect. I think he was 4 of 7 on the night practice. Podlesny, I think, was like 3 or 4 or 4 from 5 or something like that. He only missed 1 kick. So, but I mean, Greg Joseph, I mean, the pressure's on. He missed a lot of kicks last year, but he also made some absolute, like, you got to have it kicks last year, too. It's just kind of interesting, man. I hope he continues to put it together, but he has been a little bit of a fizz out. Let's be real about it. Jalen Reagor, I know we mentioned a little bit ago. It's mainly because this wide receiver room is so stacked that I'm just like, okay, Jalen Reagor, man, you got to be able to make a big play. Like, you just have to make yourself stand out. I just haven't seen it yet. But again, it's mainly because this entire wide receiver room is making plays. So, and it wasn't an accident last year that multiple targets to Jalen Reagor ended up in interceptions last year because he gave up on routes. He really needs to have a strong preseason, I think, too, in order to hold on to his spot. Cameron Bynum. Now, this is not an indictment on Cameron Bynum. It's more of a praise towards Josh Metellus and Lewis Cine. I know Cameron Bynum is a very good player. I think he is going to continue to find a place with the Vikings here. But overall, like, I just want him to blow out just like those other two guys. I know he's a good player. I know he's a starter, but it's just been rough watching those two guys continually do their things. And Cameron Bynum just hasn't necessarily blown out like those guys. But he's still solid. Him and Harrison Smith are going to be the guys. And then you're going to bring in Lewis Cine or Josh Metellus. So, but that is it. That is our Standouts and Fizzouts latest edition for the Vikings training camp of training camp. Let us know what you guys think. Like, subscribe, and comment, all that wonderful stuff. Finally, let us know, hey, what kind of pop you drink? Is it Coke, Diet Dr. Pepper, Sierra Mist? I don't care. Great value guide. Does that matter? Just put it in the comment section down below. We'd love to hear about it. But at the end of the day, let us know what you guys think about our latest edition of Standouts and Fizzouts.